What's up, everyone? Wrapping up another day to continue kind of the slow week for me. You know what? The problem was today, the scanner was picking up all sorts of stuff, and there was no clear lead gapper. Besides, maybe you could argue CPAH, which, if you guys were in the stream, you know how much that one just fell off a cliff. It had a big sell off on the open, and then the rest of the day, basically just a linear path to the downside with decreasing volume. And then, WLL was really the ticket. And this is where I should have been a little bit more attentive. So obviously the markets were up a little bit, but what was really up was oil, and everything, especially small caps or anything sympathy play related to oil, were just exploding, and they were consistently holding their highs, and they were consistently moving higher and breaking past any other resistance levels. So trading WLL or any other stock similar to WLL probably would have been the way to go today, and especially around 10 o'clock, because the opening bell until 10 o'clock, I didn't really feel any good setups. But looking back at it and kind of trying to have a new open mind to it, wow, WLL had some pretty decent entries, especially with those flash pullbacks. Could have been some really good dip buy entries as well as it was pulling higher and starting to make new highs. So we're going to go to the charts now, check out WLL. I think that really would have been the ticker today. So, in the future, if I see if something, let's say like oil, is moving, I got to pay a little bit closer attention to the small caps that are clearly moving, that are related to oil or some sort of oil and gas exploration or yada yada, which is pretty obvious. And it's not that I didn't know that, but I don't know if it's because I'm out of my groove a little bit because I was sick. It just didn't hit me as hard as that obvious fact usually hits me. So I'm saying it now. Before we go to the charts, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy the content. If you're totally new here, we go live every morning at 9:15. The community is growing steady. I would love to see you there, so definitely consider subscribing. Let's move on over to the charts now. All right, so welcome to the recap video, guys. Here's WLL, and this is a U.S. oil and gas drilling exploration company, 91 million float, and it was only gapping up 40% pre-market. So at first, I didn't really pay too much attention to this one. I guess at one point you could, oh, actually that's not true. Right around here is where we opened up. So maybe around 52%, or roughly around the highs pre-market. I didn't really pay too much attention to this one simply because there was no catalyst, and I think that was a little bit of a mistake. And actually, it was even worse than that. Here we had kind of a second big green day. You could almost argue third big green day. So on the news, you can even see here that they received a non-compliance notice from New York Stock Exchange for being under $1. So basically, if a stock's under $1 on the New York Stock Exchange, they will get delisted at one point, and they basically got their compliance notification. And so I thought they were just kind of artificially pumping it up. What I didn't do, or what I didn't kind of connect the dots, even though it's kind of obvious right in front of our eyes, is the fact that oil is up a lot today, and actually 10% US oil. So I probably should have understood that any sort of oil stocks, any sort of drilling exploration company, even sometimes sympathy plays, are going to be moving a lot today, and that's why a lot of the small caps just weren't really doing anything. So I should have probably shifted my gears a little bit quicker towards that and kind of understood that. WLL out of the gates was kind of all over the place. We had one big candle here, 12% up, and then instantly back down, and then just pure chop, and then forming a bit of a pennant pattern here. You can see the volume going down, and then the pennant pattern here. It was very choppy out of the gates. We had some false breakdowns, some false breakouts, and again a false breakdown. This was a tough one to trade. Maybe as we were kind of holding our highs above the VWAP area here, buying on any big dips would have been a good idea, and would have been actually a really good idea. I was really nervous about trading WLL in any sort of breakout fashion because of these big dips and pullbacks that it was having and showing. Although during the end of the day, near the end of the day, it really got a lot cleaner in that aspect. So would have been probably a good time to get aggressive around 10 o'clock once we started seeing some momentum to the upside. It was a tough one to trade. Had a lot of shares outstanding, so not exactly our cookie cutter kind of setup. Not to mention it had the big decimal places early on because it just came from sub-dollar. So it was kind of hard to just enter the trade. And that's exactly what happened here. So we were having some extended
decimal place issues. So what I did was I said join the bid. I had auto send selected off, so basically like this. And what I did was I just edited my order, placed the price that I wanted, which was, I think at the time it was like 30. And then I said confirm and send. And then here you can see, even though I said 30, it puts here 195. So what you have to do, you have to put 30 and then hit enter one more time, which isn't super intuitive, but that's how you make it 30. And basically I just, this is kind of an amateur hour mistake. I kind of knew about this issue, but I still made the mistake, and I made it right here, which actually would have ended up being a good trade, but I just basically entered a trade that I didn't want to enter, and it was super sketchy because I was just setting up a limit order in the future. Maybe if we had a pullback, I didn't really care what the price was doing just about right here, so I wasn't not aware of, I guess you could say, my immediate setup with WLL. So once I entered the trade, I immediately got out. I luckily got out for a small profit. Actually, let me just go here to my cash account. I got out for a small profit here, $10, but it could have been $10 loss. It doesn't really matter. Either way, it's a scratch. I was happy to close the position. So this was not a real trade. This was an accidental entry, and luckily I got out without losing any money. On this pullback here to 1.8, I'm actually a little upset. I had a limit, an alert here, and I got alerted as we were pulling back. I just was not in the room, and I missed this. I would have definitely entered at the 170s. And actually, I came back right here as we were kind of getting back to 1.8, and I was like, I don't know, the bounce is kind of over. Although, actually it kept on going another 14%, but this big bounce, I missed this whole candle, and that was, that was a 7-8% move, which is, a little tough to kind of miss, because that's what I was kind of looking for. I mean, the fact that we had a bounce this strong is pretty insane. I mean, this was a 23% bounce so far, so really, really big bounce. So a little annoying that I went and missed that bounce, but whatever. It's after 11 o'clock. I'm done, trading anyway. So this would have really been more of like a cherry on top, but yeah, I just kind of missed that one. The other stock we were looking at today is CPAH. This was a lead gapper. This was actually the lead gapper. It was moving up 100%. So you can see it here. Nice solid run here, 100%, and 3 million float. So this thing is going to be moving big. Canadian company, app company with catalyst about home office, new client news. I don't know. The whole catalyst was a little bit weird. It's kind of felt like a very weak play off the whole coronavirus home office thing, and they're getting new clients from it, but it didn't seem like anything that was really game changing. So this thing, spiked up 4% and then instantly just whipped back down. So this sell-off was very aggressive. This was a 11% dip right away, and the rest of the day it's just been totally selling off. And I was really cautious here on these little tiny fake moves to the upside. Here's one, nice little breakout and then a pullback. Here's another one. And the reason I was so cautious with this is because if you guys remember with ATIF from the day before, we were having, it was a very similar situation where this thing, was selling off the rest of the day as well. Even though, I had a really nice morning gap up, but then the rest of the day just started selling off. And when the volume was really, really low like this, I was like, okay, you know what? I don't want to get stuck in another low float stock. I mean, not low float, low volume stock. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of ignore this one. And that's why I never ended up trading CPAH. Although typically a lot of these dips are, they scream my name. I love these kind of things, but even these bounces are never really that nice. So I was like, you know what, screw it. CPAH, I'm just not going to trade. And it looks like we're about to break under $3 either now or probably pretty soon. So I'll actually put an alert here. Maybe I would trade it around 275, but I think before that, I doubt I would probably trade that. So I got an alert here on this one. And I would like to trade WLL, but I think I really did just miss that opportunity just now. So that's a little bit unfortunate. So yeah, I think no trades for me today. Unfortunately, I rarely say that. And usually if I do say that during the stream, I'll have a trade, 10, 20, 30 minutes after the stream, and that didn't even happen today. So this really looks like a little bit of a no trading day, which may be for the best because yesterday was a red day, and yeah, I don't know, maybe maybe it was good just to have a little bit of a pause in between. Plus, I think it was a tough day to trade overall. I mean, even WLL, our lead gapper, I felt very choppy, and it was hard to identify some clear entries on it. So yeah, I guess better let this one just kind of slide along. All right, guys, that's everything for this recap video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like button if you do. If you're totally new here, consider subscribing. I'd love to see you again. We go live every morning at 9:15 a.m. and that chat room is good fun. So I will see you there. And till then, guys, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.